How women signal love. The biggest mistake most men make in dating is waiting for a clear, verbal announcement. You are waiting for her to sit you down, look you in the eye, and flatly tell you that she is falling in love with you. But human psychology does not work that way, and women rarely operate with that level of blunt, exposed risk. Instead, a woman's attraction communicates through a completely different dialect, one built on subtle emotional disclosures, protective boundary drops, and nonverbal behavioral shifts. By the time a woman actually says the words aloud, she has already spent weeks or months showing you through her actions. When she begins opening up the most guarded, highly specific corners of her life to you, the evaluation phase is officially over. She is no longer testing your compatibility, measuring your worth, or keeping you at an arm's length. She has made her decision. She has chosen you. The reality is that most men are completely oblivious to this shift because they are looking for massive, dramatic gestures. They expect Hollywood moments, so they completely breeze past the quiet, micro moments happening right in front of them. In behavioral psychology, we know that female emotional investment is a gradual process of lowering defenses. A woman's natural instinct is to protect her vulnerability from the outside world because the social and emotional risks of caring too much, too fast, are incredibly high. So when she actively decides to dismantle those walls for you, it is the highest form of validation you can receive. She is handing you the keys to her inner world, piece by piece, to see if you have the awareness to notice and the maturity to handle it. Once you learn how to spot these subtle transitions, the entire dynamic changes. You will stop guessing where you stand, you will stop overanalyzing her texts, and you will never misread a woman's true intentions again. You will finally see the difference between a woman who is just being polite or enjoying your attention and a woman who is genuinely, deeply invested in building a future with you. It all comes down to tracking what she protects from the rest of the world, but freely gives to you. To help you navigate this, we are breaking down the 5 distinct, highly specific things a woman only shares when she is completely locked into you. If you are seeing these 5 signs manifest in your relationship, she isn't just interested, she is all in. 5. Out of nowhere, I miss you texts. An I miss you text might look like a casual, low effort message on your phone screen, but treating it as a standard piece of small talk is a massive mistake that will actively damage your connection. To understand why this matters, you have to look at the underlying behavioral psychology. Women are naturally wired to be highly protective of their emotional vulnerability. Admitting that they miss someone requires them to consciously acknowledge a lack of total control and a distinct, undeniable need for your specific presence. For a woman, especially one who is independent or emotionally guarded, admitting a need for a man does not happen easily or casually. It feels risky. Therefore, when she types out those words and actually hits send, she is deliberately breaking past her own defensive walls. This is particularly true when the message drops entirely out of nowhere. If you haven't been talking all day, or if she sends it right after wrapping up a stressful shift at work, it isn't an automated phrase or a superficial habit. It is a genuine confession of emotional attachment. Her brain has mapped you as her primary source of comfort and relief during a high-stress moment. She is openly signaling that her thoughts are completely occupied by you, even when life is pulling her in a dozen different directions. Most men completely miss the weight of this moment. They read the text, smile, and throw back a lazy conversational placeholder like, miss you too, completely deflating the emotional momentum she just built up. To handle this correctly and accelerate her attraction, you must actively match her level of emotional investment. Never let her vulnerability hang in the air unreciprocated. Instead of a generic reply, respond with a statement that validates her feelings while inviting her to lean in even further. Say something direct and grounding, like, I've been thinking about you too. Tell me exactly what's on your mind right now. By responding this way, you instantly signal to her subconscious that her vulnerability is entirely safe with you. You aren't running away from her depth, and you aren't ignoring her signal. You are acting as an emotionally grounded partner who knows how to step up and meet her right where she is, forcing her to fall even harder. 4. Her low guard comforts, favorite things. When a woman begins revealing her true favorite things to you, she is doing something infinitely deeper than just making polite conversation to pass the time. She is quite literally handing you the psychological blueprint to her inner world. But you have to pay close attention to the types of things she is sharing. This isn't about her telling you her favorite color or what kind of music she listens to when she's working out. This is about her sharing her low guard comforts, the highly specific, unpolished habits she retreats to when the rest of the world gets too loud. It's the exact comfort food she orders when she's had a terrible day, the specific childhood movie she replays when she feels lonely, or the exact song she listens to when she needs to cry and process her emotions. Human beings naturally compartmentalize their lives to protect their peace. Her coworkers, casual acquaintances, and even some of her everyday friends only get access to her curated public persona. They see the version of her that is put together, professional, and composed. They don't know what she looks like when she is overwhelmed, and they have no idea what tools she uses to soothe herself. If she actively chooses to show you these raw, hidden details, it means she has mentally categorized you far above everyone else in her social hierarchy. She is stripping away the social mask and letting you see the unedited version of who she is behind closed doors. She is trusting you with the things that hold deep, sentimental value to her. Your job in this scenario is to treat this data as incredibly high value information. Do not just nod your head, say, "That's cool," and completely forget about it 5 minutes later. If you want to build an unbreakable emotional bond, you need to actively anchor those details in your mind and execute on them later without her asking. If she mentioned a highly specific song that comforts her, put it on the playlist the next time you two are driving together. If she had a rough, exhausting week at work, don't ask her what she wants to eat. Simply surprise her by showing up with that exact comfort food she told you about weeks ago. This small, precise act of recollection communicates volumes. It proves to her without a shadow of a doubt that she is being actively heard, deeply seen, and genuinely valued. Remembering the micro details she trusted you with is the ultimate psychological accelerator for deep, long-term emotional attachment. 3. The silent energy shift, jealousy. When most men think of jealousy, they imagine explosive arguments, dramatic accusations, or loud confrontations. But a high value, emotionally mature woman rarely expresses her insecurity that way. Instead, her jealousy manifests as a sudden, sharp shift in her emotional energy. You need to pay incredibly close attention to these subtle behavioral changes. If you casually mention a beautiful female colleague at work and she suddenly goes completely quiet, or if her tone instantly cools down after another woman leaves a flirty comment on your social media, you are witnessing an instinctual psychological reaction. This sudden silence is not her trying to play childish mind games with you, nor is it a toxic attempt to control your behavior. It is actually a raw expression of a deeply ingrained fear, the fear of losing her primary position in your life. In that exact micro moment, she feels emotionally exposed and vulnerable, and her natural defense mechanism is to pull back, close up, and withdraw to protect her heart. Unfortunately, a lot of men notice this quiet withdrawal and handle it in the worst possible way. They either mock her for being sensitive, or worse, they deliberately exploit the situation to drop breadcrumbs of jealousy, just to feed their own masculine ego. Doing this is a massive mistake that will completely destroy her trust and force her to permanently detach from you. If you want to handle this like an emotionally grounded leader, you need to bypass the unspoken tension entirely. Do not argue with her silence and do not get defensive. Instead, make her feel explicitly and undeniably chosen. You don't need to make a massive, embarrassing spectacle out of it. Simply reinforce her importance to you with absolute clarity. Give her your undivided attention, pull her close, and make it obvious through your actions and your words that no one else even compares to her. The moment a high value woman feels completely secure and knows without a shadow of a doubt that she holds the definitive number one spot in your world, she will immediately drop her defensive guard and double down on her loyalty to you. Two, her protected secrets and internal fears. When a woman crosses the line from casual dating to deeply falling in love, the nature of what she talks about undergoes a massive transformation. The moment she trusts you enough to reveal an embarrassing story from her past, a deeply ingrained insecurity she normally hides, or a massive life ambition that she is terrified of failing at, a profound psychological shift has taken place inside her mind. In behavioral science, this dynamic is known as vulnerability reciprocity. You must realize that she isn't just venting to you to pass the time, and she isn't just sharing random data about her life. She is doing something incredibly high stakes. She is deliberately handing you emotional leverage over her entire psychological state, and she is fully trusting your character and maturity not to abuse that power. This level of absolute psychological safety is incredibly rare, and it takes months, sometimes even years, for a woman to feel secure enough to let a man see her without her armor on. The way you respond to this level of deep disclosure will completely dictate the future of your relationship. The absolute worst thing you can do when she shares a deep fear or a secret is to jump into fix it mode, like a mechanic, trying to solve her problems with logical advice. Equally damaging is trying to minimize her feelings with cheap, dismissive platitudes like, don't worry, it's not a big deal. She doesn't want you to fix her past or brush past her fears. She just needs you to be completely, unshakably present with her in that moment. Acknowledge the immense weight of what she just handed you. Look her in the eyes and tell her directly, thank you for trusting me with that. I'm really glad you shared it with me. When a woman realizes that you have the emotional depth and the internal strength to comfortably handle the full reality of her inner life without judging her, shrinking away, or getting uncomfortable, her emotional connection to you permanently locks in and she falls significantly deeper in love with you. 1. Raw, unfiltered selfies. There is one specific thing a woman will share with you that requires a level of trust far deeper than any secrets from her past or any sentimental song. It happens when she starts sending you photos of herself, taken completely in the moment, completely unfiltered. We are talking about the raw, everyday images. No professional lighting, no flattering angles, no makeup, messy hair, wearing oversized sweats, or just lounging in bed staring at the camera. In a modern culture that is entirely dominated by heavily curated, flawless social media profiles, a woman's physical appearance is highly guarded. Women are conditioned to only show the world their most polished, perfect versions. Therefore, when she consciously decides to expose her raw, unedited, vulnerable self to you through a casual photo, it is a massive psychological statement. Most men mistake this for simple vanity or a desire for attention, but they are entirely misreading the situation. This is absolute, unguarded psychological comfort. She is actively showing you the private version of herself that the rest of the world is completely barred from seeing. The way you react to these unfiltered images will either permanently solidify your bond or instantly cause her to pull back and close up. The absolute worst thing you can do is give a generic, automated response. Or even worse, leave the photo on red and reply to it hours later with unrelated small talk. When she sends you a raw photo, her ego and her emotional security are completely on the line. She is holding her breath, waiting to see how you receive her truest self. If you want to handle this like a high value man, you must validate her specifically, intentionally, and immediately. Move past basic, low effort compliments like, you look good, or nice pic. Instead, target your praise directly at her natural state. See something grounded and incredibly convincing, like, I absolutely love when you send me these. This is my exact favorite version of you. This specific kind of compliment completely rewires her emotional security around you. It proves to her that she doesn't have to wear a mask or pretend to be perfect to hold your desire. By embracing her most authentic self, you anchor her attraction, making you the one unforgettable man who truly knows how to make her feel secure. The bottom line: at the end of the day, you must realize that a woman's spoken words can be easily managed, carefully curated, and socially filtered. But her subconscious actions will always tell you the definitive, unedited truth about how she feels. When a woman is truly falling for you, her behavior shifts in ways she cannot fake. Her late night "I miss you" texts when she is completely exhausted, the hidden habits and comforts she exposes to you, the quiet energy shifts when she fears losing you, the deeply protected fears she whispers in confidence, and the raw, unfiltered photos she sends from the comfort of her bed. All of these are not random occurrences. They are high value psychological indicators of deep emotional investment. She is systematically lowering her defenses and weaving you into the fabric of her private life. The signals are glaringly obvious, but they require a man who is observant enough to see them and intelligent enough to understand their weight. As a man, your ultimate objective in dating and relationships is not to treat women like a puzzle to solve, play manipulative mind games, or view her affection as a prize to be won. Those are low value behaviors that only appeal to temporary infatuation. Your actual responsibility is to possess the internal strength, emotional maturity, absolute consistency, and sharp awareness required to be completely worthy of the immense trust she is already extending toward you. When a woman hands you her vulnerability, she is giving you the power to break her heart, trusting that your character is strong enough to protect it instead. If you treat her openness with carelessness, she will notice immediately, re-erect her walls, and quietly detach. But if you step up, match her investment, and handle her depth with grounded, masculine presence, you separate yourself from 99% of other men. You become her ultimate safe harbor, anchoring her attraction permanently and establishing yourself as the one man she can never forget.